Hi everyone, and welcome to our growth mindset assembly. I hope everyone's well. We are missing seeing everyone, and obviously we would love to have this assembly in the hall with everybody there, singing and joining in together and sharing our learning, but at the moment we can't do that, so we're going to try and do our assemblies this way instead. So if you bear with me, I might have to stop for a minute or go back if I get it wrong. So if you can try and cast your mind back, I know it's a long time ago now. It might seem like a long time ago, it's actually only a few weeks ago when we started to work on our next unit in the resilience program called Challenge Your Mindset. And we had our initial assembly in the hall, all of us together, and we were learning about the next tool in our toolkit. So if you remember, Skipper has 10 tools in his toolkit, and this one we were focusing on was challenging your mindset. And here's a quote from someone called Carol Dweck. She says, "It's not always people who start out the smartest who end up the smartest." And if you think about what you've been learning in your class before we all left school, and even now while you're at home, you'll probably think, what have I done and what can I still do? And you'll remember things like, I can't do this yet. So keep that in your mind as we talk through. So in this unit, we've covered so far who we are and what we are good at is not fixed. The way we think, feel, or learn things shapes our brain. I can change through the choices that I make. So time for you to think now. What have you been doing recently that you think might fit in with this? Especially as you've been doing a lot of learning at home on your own. Perhaps you've come across something that's really difficult. Perhaps you've sat down and thought, I can't do this. My teacher's not here. My mum and dad aren't here to help me. What can I do that might help me with this? And it's about trying and having lots of effort and not giving up. And as I said again, it's not saying I can't do this. It's trying to have a go and trying to set yourself little goals. The more times you practice, the better we get at something. So can you think of something you were not very good at in the beginning? Maybe it's something in your learning. Maybe it's something one of your hobbies. Maybe it's a new skill you've been learning recently at home. And try and remember how you got better at things through effort and practice. Have you been challenging your brain? And I'm sure all of you have really been challenging your brain through all the tasks that you've been doing that your teachers sent home, through things that the adults at home have been giving you to do. I know that everyone can probably say they've definitely challenged your brain. And remember when we all met a few weeks ago, we were talking about all the different connections in our brain and how these all link up. Tell yourself it's okay to say, I can't do this yet. And that's a phrase that I want you to keep coming back to, even when something's really, really difficult. Do you take time to consider your options? Do you set yourself little goals and challenges? Do you break those down into steps? Do you say, I'll give it a try? Change can happen when we make one choice at a time. So it's not sitting there with a full page of work in front of you saying, oh, there's no point in doing this, just giving up, I can't do it. It's about believing and having effort. Make your mark and get started. So in a minute, we're going to watch a small little clip, and it's a story called The Dot. And Skipper's here to tell us more about the importance of making your mark and seeing where it takes you. And this book is called The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds. So we're going to watch a little clip like we would normally do if we were at assembly in the hall, and think about what you think about this when you watch it. What can you take from this little clip?
Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. The paper was empty. Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. "Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm," she said. "Very funny," said Vashti. "I just can't draw." Her teacher smiled. "Just make a mark and see where it takes you." Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good, strong jab. "There!" Her teacher picked up the paper and studied it carefully. She pushed the paper toward Vashti and quietly said, "Now, sign it." Vashti thought for a moment. "Well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name." The next week, when Vashti walked into art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was the little dot she had drawn. Her dot, all framed in swirly gold. "Ha! I can make a better dot than that." She opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. A red dot, a purple dot, a yellow dot, a blue dot. Vashti painted and painted. The blue mixed with the yellow, and she discovered that she could make a green dot. Vashti kept experimenting, lots of little dots in many colors. "If I can make little dots, I bet I can make big dots too." Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on bigger paper to make bigger dots. Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot. At the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots made quite a splash. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. "You're a really great artist. I wish I could draw," he said. "I bet you can," said Vashti. "Me? No, not me. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler." Vashti smiled. She handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. "Show me." The boy's pencil shook as he drew his line. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle, and then she said, "Sign it." The end.
So I hope you enjoyed that story there about that person making their mark and remembering that you can make your mark by effort and practice and by not giving up. Have that growth mindset. I just can't do it yet. Now, if you remember back as well, you were given a home learning task and it was about trying to think of words. So if you remember, you were asked to look at possibly making a poster of doodle art and looking at some of the positive phrases that you could change to use rather than using negative ones or saying, "I can't do it, I'm going to give up, I'm no good at this," to I just can't do it yet. I'm going to take this challenge on. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to do my best effort. So hopefully most of you will have done that. If you haven't done it, maybe it's time to just rethink of some of those phrases. And, you could maybe share it with some of your classmates on your Google Classroom one morning and just see what phrases they've come up with as well. Because maybe they've got some great ideas that you maybe haven't thought of. And if you remember back to the beginning assembly as well, we looked at one of our Fishy Music songs. And these songs are always great for helping us think about what it is we're trying to achieve, and also they make us quite upbeat and happy. So we'll have a little look at that song that we sang a few weeks ago when we met. Feel free to join in if you want while you're sitting at home. It'd be great to hear. Well, I won't be able to hear you, but I'm sure the adults in your house will want to hear you doing super singing. And the actions, don't forget the actions.
We may not be top of the pops, we may not be number one spot, we may not be in record shops, but we can sing. We may not be on MTV, we may not be on CD, we may not be on DVD, but we can sing. Sing, everybody, sing in your own way. Sing, everybody, sing in your own way. Sing, everybody, sing in your own way. Don't you be afraid. We sometimes sing a little flat. We sometimes sing just like that. We sometimes sing like a cat. We can sing. We sometimes sing out of tune. We sometimes sing a little bit soon. We sometimes sing with a croon. We can sing. Sing, everybody, sing in your own way. Sing, everybody, sing in your own way. Sing, everybody, sing in your own way. Don't you be afraid. We love to sing, hey-oh. 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 Sing, everybody, sing in your own way. Sing, everybody, sing in your own way. Sing, everybody, sing in your own way. Don't you be afraid. Sing, everybody, sing in your own way. Sing, everybody, sing in your own way. Sing, everybody, sing in your own way. Don't you be afraid.
I hope everyone was joining in there, doing their actions. So just before we finish, just to remember all these things that you've been learning, and if you've forgotten them, that's okay. You can go back and refocus now, because we've got another week or two before we're going to start our new unit in our resilience program, and that'll be our final unit before the summer holidays. So just go back and have a little think if you've forgotten to do some of these things. And it's so important at the moment that we do have this growth mindset, because it is a challenging time and things are very different than they would normally be for us, and it might be easy for us to get fed up and give up and not try because we've not got our friends around us or we've not got our teacher there checking on our work. But now more than ever, it's really, really important that you try your best, give your best effort, don't give up, and if things are tricky, go back to it and keep trying. This is a nice quote to end with. It says, "The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go," from Dr. Seuss. Well, hopefully you have learned something and revised what we've been doing from this assembly today. As I said, there will be more of these coming in a few weeks, just to keep everyone busy, and that you're not forgetting about all the work you've done up to this point. So thank you for tuning in, and I will look forward to getting back in touch in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.